Hey there, welcome to Feast and Farm Cooks. My name is Rachel Ballard, and this is the channel where I teach you how to use food as a tool for healing and wellness so that you can live, love, and do more of what brings you joy. If you've seen my ever popular sourdough loaf bread recipe here on the channel, then you'll know that I taught you guys a while back how to make a starter, and now it's time for the third installment in the series with our setup for how to make a small starter, a tiny one, or a great big one. It's very easy to do, and it keeps you from wasting a bunch of flour. Let's go to the kitchen and put it together. So a lot of times there's this belief that if you make a sourdough starter that you have to feed it forever and you have to make it giant and you just waste a ton of flour, and we're not going to do that. So this is my existing starter from home, and I just want to show you quickly how to make a small one. So let's say somebody gives you some starter, or you have a large jar and you're just not going to be using that. You can just make a little bitty one. So we're going to start with a tiny jar. The smallest I would really go on a starter is about 20. You can go to 20. Just keep in mind that you're probably going to need to really feed it for quite a while in order to get it large enough to do anything with later, but that's still an option. So let me just get 20 grams starter in this little jar. You also need to have room for it to double, so make sure that you're planning accordingly with your jar size. All right, and then it's just equal parts with flour and water. So I'm just see if I can do this without making a total mess. Just putting 20 grams of flour in. Okay. We're going to zero our scale. And then 20 grams of filtered water. Remember that your water should always be filtered. If you're going to use tap water, it needs to sit out for a couple of hours to neutralize the chlorine before you use it. Okay, 20 grams of water. We'll zero that out, move the scale. And then I'm just going to reach in here and get my spoon, which is totally fine to do, and just give it a little stir. Once you have this all mixed up and your starter begins to kind of bubble and activate a little bit, you can just cover it in a paper towel and put a rubber band on the top of it, just like that, and put it away in your refrigerator for up to a week. You can sit there without having to feed it. If you want to go ahead and if you want to keep it in the fridge longer than a week, make sure you're taking it out and feeding it once a week. You will want to take out another 20, throw away the rest so that you keep it small. Otherwise, you're going to end up multiplying it over time. So just make sure you're taking that out and getting rid of it so that you keep a small amount. But it will keep you from wasting it. So to make a larger starter, simply take whatever amount you have and continue to double it day over day until you have enough for your recipe. I have actually done some where I had an entire half-gallon jar of starter ready for large batches. But all you need to do is measure out what you have, and this is, of course, my starter from home. And it really depends on what you're making. So some sourdough brioches, for example, take 150 grams of starter to make a single loaf. And then you have some of the crusty artisan loaves that only need 64 grams in order to work themselves out. So it depends on what you're making. And if you're making something that you know is going to be really large, it could be important to plan ahead several days in advance and just keep multiplying your jar. Okay, so I am at 234 grams on this. And that's all you would need to do is just add equal parts. This is going to be a lot of starter, but I'll make sure I share it with somebody. 234. If you haven't seen my recipe for my sourdough loaf bread, or my sandwich bread, make sure you check out the link in the description box for that. And I will also link the recipe for how to make your starter if you need to go back and watch that one again too. Let's put some water in this one. Again, the same amount, very easy. And it shouldn't take you very long with a method like this to have a really big starter on your hands. Overshot my water a little, but that's okay. Okay, and then we'll stir this up. And this can sit out on the counter until it activates and is bubbly. And again, you can put it in the refrigerator for up to a week if you need to, or you can leave it out until you're ready to bake. Now that you know how to manage your starter, make sure you check out my sourdough loaf bread right here, and I'll see you in that video, and have a great day, guys. See ya.